Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Before I Go podcast. I wanted to take a few moments to talk about love and regret. First of all, let's set the tone with the definition. According to Wikipedia, regret is the emotion of wishing one had made a different decision in the past because the consequences of the decision were unfavorable. That makes sense. I think it also makes sense to recognize that every decision that I have made in the past has brought me to where I am now, which, as I look around, is a pretty cool place. So I cannot really make a case for regret. Amy Somerville, who is a noted psychologist who runs the Regret Lab at the University of Miami in Ohio, says that regret can be toxic when it becomes habitual. When you continually dwell on the events of the past and refuse to move forward and use the experience as a lesson. In the context of love, there are many opportunities for regret, at least there are for me. In the past 40 years, I have been in and out of more relationships than I care to count. So back to the definition, regret is the emotion of wishing one had made a different decision in the past because the consequences of the decision were unfavorable. So I decided to marry a man that I knew in my heart I had no business marrying. All the red flags imaginable were present, but I made a decision, and the consequences of that decision were unfavorable. Do I wish I had made a different decision? No, not really. I wish the consequences of that decision were different, but falling in love and getting married are not decisions that I wish I hadn't made. Had I not made that decision, I wouldn't have become a mother. I feel this way about all my relationships. If I have ever been in love or expressed love toward another person, I will never regret those experiences. Even though the consequences of the decision to love someone did not always turn out in my favor. Does that make sense? So why are there no regrets? Simple. For me, love is an action. The act of loving someone is the reward. Having the capacity to love another person is a gift, and I'm glad that I'm able to do it. For example, one of the ways that I show love is through food. I love to cook a meal for someone that I love, whether it be my kids, my family, or a partner. In my eyes, providing sustenance is love. That act alone brings me joy, and I do not expect anything in return. I can love someone without the expectation of reciprocity. For a time, anyway. I mean, if you respect me and I continue to enjoy your company, then we're cool. However, if I feel taken for granted or disrespected, then obviously I gotta go. I love myself too much to be in a situation where someone doesn't treat me as well as I treat myself. Now, when I'm in a relationship, I love because it just feels good to love. This is going to sound crazy, but who says love has to be forever? Till death do us part? Really? Did you know that the first recorded vows spoken at weddings originated in 1549? And back then, marriage wasn't even considered something a man and a woman did to show their love and union together, but was typically done as a way of making peace or for trade purposes between families. If I were to write vows today, they would simply say, I promise to love you and to treat you with respect. Period. Please don't misunderstand. I am not bashing marriage. I'm just saying that twice someone made a vow to stay with me until death parts us, and I vowed the same thing. And in both cases, neither one of us were able to hold up our end of the bargain. When I think about my past relationships, I know that even though I probably won't do it again, I'm not sorry that they happened. If I have ever said I love you to someone, I will never regret that. Obviously, those experiences did not end in the traditional happily ever after, but I believe they turned out exactly how they were supposed to. And that's all I have for today. Thank you so much for listening. But before I go, let me share this with you from Alfred Lord Tennyson. "'Tis better to have loved and lost than never to have loved at all." I'll see you next time.